All right, welcome to part 2. Let's go ahead and try the your turn problem. So we draw the Tetris. I see some subtraction, so I want to change that immediately to plus and negative. Then I want to say, okay, step 1. Here's my constant, the negative 7. I want to move that to the right side, get it away from the variable so I can isolate the variable. So I'm going to go ahead and say I see a negative 7, so I have to add 7 to both sides. Adding 7 with a plus sign, not just putting down a 7. This is a DSSM, so I am going to subtract. I'm going to keep a negative sign because I have more negatives. Drop this down, get 5n is equal to negative 22 plus 7 gives me negative 15. So now here's step 2 of a two-step equation. I have 5n, 5 times some number gives me negative 15. I divide to figure out what that number is. So these cancel out. I get n is equal to negative 3. Different signs, negative. See how I switch between my addition rules and multiplication division rules. So now let's check. Let's plug it in. And yes, you need to write this down. So we have the original problem, 5n plus negative 7 equals negative 22. Now plug in what you got for n, which was negative 3. So 5 parentheses negative 3 plus negative 7 is equal to negative 22. And you're asking yourself, is this a true statement? Is what I solved for n the correct answer? 5 times negative 3 gives you negative 15 plus negative 7. And is negative 15 plus negative 7 negative 22? Yes, it is. If you, for some reason, said your answer was 3 here, right, and you plugged in 3, you would then be asking yourself, is 15 plus negative 7 negative 22? And you should immediately be like, no, that's wrong. You have to know your integer rules to make sure that you can go ahead and add this stuff up. But because we know our integer rules and we know that negative 15 plus negative 7 is an SSAK, it gives us negative 22. Lots going on here, guys. Lots to think about. All right. Negative 3x minus 2 is 4. So we have plus negative 2. Draw our Tetris. And we're going to go ahead and add 2 to both sides because that's our constant. This is step 1, right? Add 2. Add 2. Notice everything is add, then divide, add, then divide. These cancel out because they're 0. Bring this down. I get negative 3x is equal to 6, right? The reason why I can cross this off, and basically it becomes isolating this variable on this side, is because that became 0, right? Now, step 2 will be saying, okay, I have a negative 3. Here's the key thing that you need to remember. Here, because I see negative 2, I need to add positive 2 because it's 0. Here, because I want x by itself, I don't divide by the opposite, I divide by exactly what is there. So I divide by exactly the coefficient of negative 3. Why? Because I want this to become 1. If I just divided by 3, I would get negative 1, and then I would be left with negative x. I want to solve for what x actually is, not negative x. So dividing by negative 3 gives me that 1, and that cancels out, and x is equal to, this is a DSN, different signs negative, negative 2. Now let's go ahead and check. So we're going to check by saying negative 3x plus negative 2 is equal to 4. Let's plug in negative 3x instead of x. We plug in our answer, which is negative 2 plus negative 2 is equal to 4. And we're asking ourselves, is this a true statement, right? Is 6, that's what negative 3 times negative 2 is, because SSP, plus negative 2 equal to 4. And yes, it is. So we know we have the right answer. I want you to try negative 3n plus 17 on your own. Come show me when you're done. All right. Sorry, the video's all over. This one is a little bit difficult. So when we have this coefficient, we know that this means multiplication, so we need to divide, right? But when we have this, it means division, so the opposite is we need to multiply. Okay? The division, the multiplication always comes at the very last step. Okay? So the first step is always the same. It's always making sure that you can move the constant to the other side. So here's my variable on the left-hand side. I have a negative 2, so step 1 is saying, all right, let's add 2 to both sides. Doing this, why did I do that? I want this to be 0. This becomes 0, excuse me. We drop this down exactly how it is, so x over 3 is equal to 3. And now here's where that knowledge I just taught you needs to come in, all right? This right here is representing division. Division, if I see division, I need to multiply. I need to do the inverse operation. And how do I set this up? Please set it up exactly like this. So times, put the 3 up there, and then times 3. Why do I put it up there? So I can say, okay, 3 times x is 3x. Then divided by 3 is 1, or 1x, or just x. And that's the long way of saying, hey, we can just cancel that out. This drops down, and I get x is equal to 9. Let's check. How do I check? Negative 2 plus x over 3 equals 1. Negative 2 plus, not x, but 9 over 3 equals 1. And again, we're just asking ourselves, is this a true statement? Well, negative 2 plus what's 9 over 3? It's 3 is equal to 1. Is that true? Is negative 2 plus 3 equal to 1? Yes, it is. All right, let's try this one. Plus a negative. And draw your Tetris. The constant in this case, again, is negative 2. It's the number on the side with the variable, not attached to the variable. That's the constant. We add 2 to both sides. This cancels out. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. This drops down exactly where it is. X over 2 is equal to 5 plus 2 is 7. So again, I see division. So if I see division, I need to multiply. So I say times 2 times 2. You multiply by the denominator, the exact denominator. So if that was negative 2, I would multiply by negative 2. If that was 5, I multiply by 5, right? That's the key thing. Just like if this was if this was negative 3x, you divide by negative 3. You got to remember, like here you're doing the opposite when you're adding, but when you're dividing and multiplying, you're doing it exactly by the coefficient, right? So these cancel out. X is equal to 14. Let's check that. So let's rewrite the problem. X plus negative 2 equals 5. Now let's plug in our answer. We said it was 14. We're going to see if we're right. 14 plus negative 2 is equal to 5. All right, we're trying to see, is this a true statement? 14 divided by 2 is 7. 7 plus negative 2, is that equal to 5? Sure is. I know I have the right answer. I'll do one more problem with this one. So draw your Tetris. Again, we're looking for the constant. The constant here is 7. It's a positive 7. So to make that 0, I add negative 7. When I add negative 7 to both sides, those cancel out. This is a DSSM, different signs, subtract. So I get 3, not negative 17, not negative 3. I get positive 3 because there's more positives. This drops down, x over negative 4. And now this is step 2. I see division. So since I see division, I multiply by negative 4. By the exact number, right? This is the opposite, but this is the exact number. Why? Because negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Divided by negative 4 is positive 1x, and that's just x, so we can cancel that. So x is equal to 3 times negative 4. That's a DSN, different signs negative, negative 12. We'll do one last thing, and we'll check it. We'll say 7 plus x over negative 4 is equal to 10. Now we'll plug in what we thought our answer was, which was negative 12 over negative 4 is equal to 10. And we're asking ourselves, is this a true statement? You might get a little worried here. You might say, oh, I see negatives, but my answer is positive. But you should remember, negative divided by negative is a positive. So negative 12 divided by negative 4 is positive 3. And is that a true statement? It sure is. All right, do this last one. Come show me when you are finished.